Hi, welcome to Valley Flowers. Today we are going to make a dried flower wreath. So let's get growing together. We're going to start with a grapevine wreath and create something beautiful, maybe textural like this. The grasses, the iris pods, the sea oats, just beautiful all together with the textures. And then you can add different colors of gomphrena, statice. Straw flowers are another option. There's a variety of different things that can be dried and colorful that you can enjoy for seasons to season. So let's start over here and, I got out some ribbon just for fun, just in case we wanted to add that. And we start with a grapevine wreath, and we make these here and just twine the wreath branches all together. You can do this with grapevine, you can do it with bittersweet. I like to use birch branches as well. So the first thing we do is tie a piece of wire to the side of your wreath. And generally for dried flowers, 24 to 26 gauge is actually the best, but you can use 24 or 28 gauge. 24 gauge is heavier, 28 gauge is thinner. So this is kind of 26 gauge, kind of middle of the road. And what I do is I take some grasses as a base to form a base around the whole wreath. And I will just take little sections of it. And the grass, as a big piece, it's kind of like wonky and long. So I'm going to just break those apart and create a nice little cluster. And I'll put some iris pods in it for that brown texture, and some sea oats for a little movement as you walk by the sea oats. They kind of waft in the wind just by your movement. And then I'll add another little piece of grass over the top. The statice also has a hard stem, so if you wanted to incorporate that first around your wreath, that is also an option. But I tend to do the base first and then add the color afterward. But I'll show you this with the statice. So you want to flare your arrangement out a bit and then pull it tight and go around it 2 or 3 times to make sure that it's going to stay. And then you're going to go at a diagonal down, so your next cluster is going to be able to go next to that. So I'll take some grasses that I have pre-cut here. I might take a loop of my grass. It almost looks like ribbon as you loop it down through. Add some iris pods. And I'll add that one little piece of statice as I go around. You can always move a few things around, but it's not too particular right off the bat. And I just lay my next cluster over the top, and it hides the wire down below it. And then I go around twice, and then I pull it a little snug. And then my next piece, I'm going to go at an angle to form my next cluster. Another way you can do it is just cluster your group. So these I just put on without wiring them first, but it is an option to wire the cluster and then put it on your wreath. And oftentimes I take the statice and I just tuck that in there. If I forgot to add a piece, then I can just continue all the way around. And then when I get to the end, I'll cut this at 6 inches and tie it off by sewing it through. So I have more clusters here. So this one was one that was tied. I'm just gonna flare these out a bit. And remember, this is your base, so it's okay if it looks a little wonky, and you can fix it as you go. So I went at an angle there because I needed the wire to come down through a bit. And I'll go across, and then I'll go at an angle. But you can see that's wired 3 times, and that's a perfect amount to hold it in place, and it's nice and snug. So that's the beginning stages. And then as you go through, you'll end up with something like this, where you have the greens and the grasses all around, and then you can just put a little swag there, or you can add flowers all the way around where you have the color dispersed. And you can even go as far as make it all flowery and more color. The other option too, you don't want anything too elaborate, so you take a wreath and you just put a little spray on the side like that. And to finish this wreath off, that's an option to do, just to have that. But I thought I would put this in a blue bathroom, and I formed this one spray. It has nothing in the center, like this one has the straw flowers to hide the mechanics of the wire. But this one, I'm gonna find where I'm gonna put this, find the angle I would want it, and I think I'm gonna put it right there because I'm going to just wire that around, and then it's neutral. You can add more dried flowers to it, or you can add a bow right in the center and tie that off, twist the wire pieces together, find your right wire piece, and I would finish that off a little bit further. But and if this breaks off, you can take a hot glue gun and just hot glue like that and put it in the place that you would want a little bit of white. And then fix your bow to go in the right direction. And then I can hang that in my blue bathroom. So finished. From flowers, wreath to bows, it all works together. So thanks for growing with us today, and have a great day.